Discretion is advised.
Some viewers may find this disturbing. Viewer discretion is advised.
Hello and welcome everybody. Welcome to the Ben&Grem Show. It's the Ben&Grem Show, and again with a numbers episode of Ben&Grem. 2nd of August, everyone. 2nd of August, Graham.
I don't know if anyone can hear me because I can't hear Ben.
Oh, really? Interesting. Interesting. What about now, Graham?
What did you forget?
I don't know.
Yeah, you do know, mate.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
Right, let me start again. Okay. Oh, you said you couldn't hear me? Okay, fine. Okay, we'll start again. Hello everyone, good evening, it's Sunday. It's Sunday, Graham.
I was the person then that couldn't hear you.
So
Was it just me that couldn't hear you or all the viewers?
maybe it was just you. Maybe it was just you, Graham. But no, you can hear me now. I think you can hear me now.
Yes, I can.
Right,
Loud
okay.
and clear.
That's good news. Well, ladies and gentlemen, again, it's the 2nd of August, all right? And nice to see everyone again. We are delighted to have you back for another episode. We have got a few things to discuss, as like normal. Firstly, before we get into our topics, I just want to say, I hope you're all having a wonderful evening. Me and Graham most definitely are too. And we have some props for you guys. We have the new Ben&Grem Show mug.
Oh, yes.
So if you want one of these guys, then please drop us a message in the message box and on the group page, Facebook page, and we will endeavour to get that on your way.
Yep. I've got a matching one.
Yeah.
Just
So,
like mine.
Graham, I'm going to just do something. So I'm getting a slight bit of feedback. My end. Is it okay on your end, Graham? You doing good?
I don't appear to be getting any feedback. It might be where you
need feedback. Okay, that's fine. Not a problem. Okay, well that's great. That's great because we don't need feedback, do we, guys? So, Graham, how have you been? Firstly, before we get going on the show.
Well, I've been fine. I've been working quite hard today, serving my public.
Yeah.
It's been quite an interesting day. I expected to be a bit more busier than normal, but Dim Church is a rather strange place. I didn't sell as much as I thought I was going to sell of my whippy. So never mind. At least I've got back here in time.
So you sold a whippy. How many whippies did you sell then? Did you count?
No. I think probably maybe about 120 maybe.
120 whippies. Does your arm hurt when you're making these whippies, Graham?
Oh, it depends what sort of movement I'm doing with my arm actually.
There's a lot of lifting in it. Well, not lifting, but you know what I mean. You're constantly doing that, aren't you?
Well, you've got to grab hold of the handle.
Yeah.
And you've got to gently pull it towards you, whilst holding underneath.
Right. Interesting.
Yeah, it is.
Well, yeah. Well, I'm sure the viewers didn't appreciate wanting to come and watch the Ben&Grem Show and talk about cones and what was the other thing? Whippies. So what we'll do is we'll start off, Graham, with our first topic. And the first topic this evening is Boris Johnson. Now, we're talking about Boris Johnson, the UK Prime Minister. Boris Johnson has, now, I'm going to say the word offered, but it's not quite an offering. It's kind of a given, actually. He's given, I believe, his brother, who is of the grand age of, or should we say the young age of 48, giving him a peerage. Graham, I find this really particular, don't you? Particularly strange how somebody can maybe have a peerage when, you know, what I understand to know is if you have a peerage, you need to have it for a reason, right? Do you understand what I mean, Graham?
Exactly. I don't understand the whole process totally, but honestly, if somebody is going to receive a peerage, then they must have done something positive for either their community or the wider community or the nation as a whole. And in regards to Boris Johnson's brother, younger brother, 48, as Ben just said, he, I believe, hasn't really done much except for be a MP, and he did take lead in one of the government departments, but off the top of my head, I'm afraid I've forgotten that from this morning.
Right.
Already. Is that important? But then the Prime Minister has the right to choose who he wants to give the peerage to, and so it's just part and parcel of the job, I suppose. But it's just wrong, isn't it? Peerages should only go to people that have actually done something positive for, as I said, their community, wider community, or the nation as a whole.
Yeah, I mean, Graham, I think you could also say, couldn't you, it's a bit of Toryism, isn't it? Whatever the Toryism word means. I mean, quite honestly, you know, Boris Johnson, his brother, you know, they're related, you know, cronyism, as they call it, actually, cronyism. I mean, we saw this, didn't we, in the Europe's referendum, you know, where Theresa May, if you like, was giving or offering peerages out to people within the cabinet. And it was kind of a very selective number of people, if you like, with a particular selective view on politics. And it was almost, as you say, as I say, more like cronyism. Would you say that was similarly to what we're seeing maybe with Boris Johnson's, you know, brother, or do you think maybe that's maybe a step too far? What do you think, Lewis?
I think it's different. I think it's just a brother-on-brother thing, personally, for me.
Yeah. I mean, there's no harm done, is there? I mean,
the Theresa May situation was all due, and well, it's basically partial to Brexit, wasn't it?
Yes, it was.
Yeah. So, and they all voted Remain, didn't they?
That's right, Graham. That's what I mean. You know, by potential cronyism. That's absolutely right. You know, I think that there was a feeling of that, wasn't there? Given some of the selective decisions, selections, should we say? Well, Graham, I suppose you could say, really, it's not bad, is it? Walking into a place every day to pick up your £300 cheque for being a peer, which is not bad, is it?
Yeah, I mean, can you imagine that, Ben? Can you imagine going to your job every day just to walk through the front door, sign a piece of paper or a register, and then say, see you later, and then walk back out again with £300 at the end of the month in your pocket for that precise day? It's £300 a day. It's disgusting, but that's not including the items they claim for. You know, the expenses, the food, the travel, the second home nearby, and it's just ridiculous, totally ridiculous.
Well, it's not like they don't get paid enough, is it? What do we know? MPs, they're on sort of, I don't know, 80-odd thousand, is it, roughly, a year? I mean, for doing the job, which is fair enough. I mean, it's a very highly respectable job, if you can call it a job. But it's not a permanent job, it's a borrowed job, you know, so an entitlement you've been given, you know, for a selected amount of years, and but does it justify 80,000? I'm not so sure if it does. But it's also like the House of Lords, isn't it, Graham? I mean, like, should we have a House of Lords? I mean, if we were to maybe look at abolishing it, I mean, just hypothetically now, I mean, would that be a good idea? I mean, after all, these people are unelected. But then again, if we were there maybe to elect these people, would that also be a good idea, given some of the politicians that we have today? Again, equally, that's a bit of a slippery slope, isn't it?
Certainly is. It's not a great place to be, is it, Ben?
No, absolutely not. Well, so yeah, £300, that's not bad, Graham, is it? Getting out of bed, walking down to one particular location, signing in, I'm assuming that's what you do when you're up here, you sign in to say that you turned up, and then you go. £300, thank you very much. A day.
Well, they might stop at their bar first and have a few pints or whatever, or a couple of shots of whiskey, and then off they go with their, their chauffeur car waiting for them.
Not bad.
They've earned their £300 a day.
Not bad.
Yeah. So
although I will say, Graham, I think the difference between Theresa May and Boris Johnson, as you could say, is Boris Johnson was a Leaver, and it's fair to say clearly that Theresa May was a Remainer. But of course, offering peers or peerages to MPs. Well, actually, what's quite interesting is Boris Johnson's father is, or I understand to believe, I'm not sure if he still holds the same view, but I understand to believe that he's a bit of a Remainer at heart. And it was, quite interesting when, of course, through the referendum, Boris was talking and advocating leave, and of course we had the father, talking about Remain. But what was the position of his brother? Would you say? I mean, I don't know. Was he Remain?
I thought he was Remain. Yes.
So in that case, that's good, isn't it? Maybe it's not so crony, isn't it? Offering to the opposite view. Maybe, family could be, maybe, in a form, cronyism, but maybe not. Don't know. And that brings us quite swiftly on, doesn't it, Graham?
No, yeah.
Topic number 2, ladies and gentlemen, and this is an interesting one for you. Google. All right, we have a subject on Google this evening, and what do we know about Google? Well, they're a big company, lots of money, and it turns out that they've just invested, quite heavily actually, in some modern technology, or should we say increase of their infrastructure. And what do I mean by that, Graham?
Right. Well, from the coast of the USA to the coast of the United Kingdom, whereabouts either side, I do not know where, but then on to Spain, they are going to be laying an undersea cable. So that's going to cost quite a bit, isn't it? And where's this cost going to be pulled onto?
Yeah. Well, I think what you could say is a cost. Okay, maybe not quite so much against the taxpayer, but I suppose in a sense you could say it would be when or if we're using their services. But then again, you don't pay Google directly, do you? I suppose you pay your internet provider, don't you? So whether a cut will come from that, whether internet providers will put their prices up, I'm not so sure. Maybe they will.
Well,
however,
yeah, but the thing is, it all depends. And I was thinking about this earlier.
Yeah.
The Google have contracts with countries, not internet suppliers. So maybe it's the countries that are either putting into the cost of this, or they're being charged for the use of this when it's completed in 2022.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah.
So if that's the case, then the business rates may go up for internet providers, which will then, as you just rightfully said, Ben, will increase the monthly cost for you or I.
Yeah.
And
they may well do. Well, time will tell, won't it? But it's interesting because what we know, of course, is that we are leaving the European Union, and what's going to happen there, of course, is the UK are going to open up different negotiations with the rest of the world, and in particular Europe. And it's going to be obviously between them and us, and it's going to be great. There's going to be no middleman in this. But also, I think the benefit by this news is that you take Google, for example, they're putting all this new infrastructure in place under the oceans. So of course they're connecting the world almost, you could say, with internet, and that's really, really good. So for businesses particularly, I think it's fair to say, with the European Union hoping to do business with the UK beyond Brexit, that actually that can increase business opportunities, couldn't it?
Yes, most definitely, mate. It's going to help with the quality of the internet speed and the quality of the data as well. From that, it can only be a good thing. It can only be a good thing, but it's just what I worry about is the bigger picture. Where's this cost eventually going to end up? I mean, if it's just an extra £2 a month, I don't think many people will moan about that £2 a month. But if it's whacked up like 20-30% their internet speed, internet costs.
Yeah.
It's not good. It's not good because the cost of this. Because in the article that we read, the cost in this, there's no actual cost stated.
No.
I mean, something like this to be done, and we all know Google is one of the biggest companies in the world, and they are worth billions. It's going to cost billions to lay this wire. So they've got to be getting some sort of incentive from other countries. They've got to be. They've got from each country that they want to go to. They've got to be getting a form of incentive from it. Otherwise, it'll cripple them, won't it?
Yeah, absolutely, it will. And I think you touched on a very good point there, Graham. Just before we move on, or if even should we continue on with this conversation, I just want to mention a few things to the viewers, in fact. And firstly, I want to mention Lisa. Thank you again, Lisa, for joining us this evening. Lisa, better late than never, eh? Doesn't matter about being late. The fact that you're here is mostly important.
Yeah, thank you, Lisa. Thank you for joining us.
Huge pleasure to have you on board again, isn't it, Graham? Yeah.
It is.
Also, Lee, thank you very much, Lee. Lee's here with us as well. And actually, Lee's left us a comment, guys. He has said, it is safe, or will we need to end up with the scenario like James Bond, where somewhere like China or Russia will be able to hack into it? That's a concept, Graham. We didn't think about that, did we?
No. Well, yes. Very strange.
I mean, okay, so how would they... Let's just say this, right? So what we understand now is it's going to be connectivity from the likes of the United Kingdom, USA and Spain, right? If that's what I'm right in saying.
Yes.
And of course there will be obviously the ocean, which will be utilised. It's quite interesting, really, isn't it? Laying stuff under the ocean. It's quite amazing. But, with that, yeah, we've got to be careful. I mean, who's going to be the controlling factor of it? I mean, we know Google, but what country is going to run it? I mean, Google's what? What's Google? Is it American, isn't it? Is it American, guys? Google?
I believe so.
Yeah.
But the thing is, it won't just be one whole wire, will it? It will have sub-points. It's got to have sub-points. And they can't... Yeah, I was thinking sub-points, because substations, it would be like every so many hundred of miles or something.
Yeah.
But doing that in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, for example, I don't know how they're going to manage that. So maybe it's from country to country that is going. But there has to be something to protect or detect an issue along the line. It's got to have some sort of sense mechanism or something to pick up an issue that's been developed, so the engineers can get there and deal with it.
Exactly. Yeah, I know where you're coming from there. I get it. Graham, what do you think about this lockdown? I mean, guys, what do you also think about this lockdown? We're getting quite far into this now, aren't we? And we're hearing all sorts of different ideas coming forward, changes as well, in the way we're going about our daily lives to accommodate the ebbs and flows of coronavirus. And I want to talk about, particularly, guys, and Graham, talk about face masks. I mean, people. You've got these two types of people, haven't you, Graham? You've got the people that go, do you know what? Yes, this is great. We want to wear face masks. We understand the severity. We understand about keeping others safe. And we've got another group of individuals who decide maybe actually they're not for me, and I'm not wearing them. Of course, what we do know, Graham, isn't it? It's now become mandatory, and with that, some people are still trying to find loopholes, aren't they? In having.
Well, yeah, they are, aren't they? But the Prime Minister has stated that if people are not adhering to this, he will have no choice but to lay the law down, and extra police will be put on the streets to be able to attend to it. People will be fined. People will be arrested if necessary.
Well, Lisa says she's back to work now after being furloughed. Yes, Lisa, actually, yeah, it seems like many people now, aren't they? They're coming back to the working world again, and obviously with significant changes in the meantime. Obviously, we are seeing working routines very much different to what maybe we saw 6 to 8 months ago. But with that, we are doing, I think, as a collective, the responsible thing. Face masks are there not only to protect you, but more importantly, to protect others. You know, I think that's what we've got to remember, and they are most certainly no use to anyone if you're happening to be wearing one, and in an environment where others aren't. It kind of makes it pointless, but certainly I'd expect that everybody really should have, shouldn't they, the mentality of, well, actually, we need these, and we should wear them because it's not over, guys. It's not over yet, is it, Graham? It's not over.
No, it's not over, and we must be true to ourselves and true to our loved ones. We must protect them, and to protect them, we've got to protect ourselves.
Yeah.
So don't be selfish. Don't be self-centered. If you're going into a shop, or on a bus, or in a taxi, or in a crowded place, put the mask on. It's simple.
Exactly. Take it from Graham. It is simple. It is simple. And I think, yeah, we need to all come together and look after each other, because it's not just ourselves. If we think we're okay, we might well be. But there's a very small chance, and I say small, quite a high chance actually, you just don't know, that actually you could be carrying the symptoms. And it has been told, hasn't it, that even up till now, it's been discovered that you can still get coronavirus without any idea at all. So in fact, that in itself has every reason as to why we should wear these. I think that's it, Graham, isn't it, on the very subject?
Yes, it is, I believe so, mate.
What do you think about this? Because Lisa's just said, Graham, about finishing about the subject, but Lisa just said about the face masks or face coverings, because we know it's not just about face masks, is it? It's face coverings as well. And what we do know, of course, is that you can wear the shields. You can wear like the plastic shields, you know.
Yeah.
What do you think about those? I mean, I will say this: if there is any criticism for this, I would say that they are maybe not so safe. Why do I say that? Well, I think you could say that the visor has. Lisa, do you agree or do you not agree? But the visor has gaps, right? And so if you were to cough, okay, fine, you're not going to impact somebody or area in front, but you are around you, presumably. Mm-hmm. Do you not think, Gren, that that's a bit of a concern? Do you think if you're going to wear a visor that you should wear a mask with the visor?
No, I agree. Basically, it's the air droplets, you know, which there's some water in the air, and if there's coronavirus in a droplet and it gets into your eye, then something like that will protect you. But as Ben has just mentioned, if you have the virus and you don't know, and you cough, and it will come away from underneath and onto your clothes and out, and eventually it will get somebody else, or you can still easily bring it in from someone else. So the best thing, really, I suppose, in the long run, is to wear a face mask and the visor, which will help protect your eyes as well.
Absolutely. Well, yeah, there you go. So what do you think about that, Lisa? Do you think maybe it's suitable to wear? I mean, obviously it's down to the company you work for, I suppose, and you know, maybe they're comfortable with just the visor itself, but you know, I think it is about safety, isn't it? Lisa says, I wear both. Sorry, my grammar and spelling is terribly bad tonight. No, actually, don't worry. My reading's quite bad sometimes. I think if I'm really tired, Lisa, when I try to read something, well, you've probably seen it on the show, I just get all fumbly. Anyway, but no, that's fine, Lisa, that's fine. Yeah, wear both. I think that's right. I think you have to, really. I think you have to. Don't you, Graham? I think you're right.
Yeah, I do.
Anyway, just a quick mention, Frank has joined us, Frank McKenna. Thank you very much, Frank, and it's great to see you this evening. I hope you're enjoying this stream. And we've also, who else we've got? Macy Johnson, everybody. Thank you very much, Macy. Nice to see you too. Who else do we have? There's a few people coming in, actually. I'm really impressed with you guys. You're top notch tonight. Thank you. Thank you from us. Isn't that right?
Yes, I'm trying to sort out my lighting, and I do apologise about this. I'm going to end up getting a sleepy eye because it's from my phone.
A sleepy eye, Graham?
Yeah. Sleepy eye. Oh, what's it?
A lazy eye? Is that what you mean? Or sleepy eye? What's the difference? Are they the same sort of thing? Lazy eye, sleepy eye?
It's all dark now. Oh, I can't use this.
I think you look great, Graham. What do you reckon, viewers? I think Graham looks great, doesn't he?
What? Like this? Or like this?
Yeah, Grem, you look quite good. He looks quite good, doesn't he?
I'll stick that down.
I like it. Spotlighting. Even lighting. That's what you want, isn't it, Graham? Studios require it. It's required. Yeah, so nice to see everyone. I hope everyone's having a great evening, besides watching the show. And if you are watching the show and enjoying the show and having a great evening, then bonus. Have you ever named a dog Bonus, Graham? I met a dog the other day, and its name was Bonus.
No, I've never heard of that before, but that's hilarious.
Yeah. Do you know what? In my job, guys, I tell you what I love doing. It's a bit of a conversation starter, but I love saying to the owners, particularly if there's children in the car, they love it. They always respond. The children always respond first. So I always say, so what's the dog's name? And it's great. They love it. The kids, they start shouting out. It's really good. Anyway, so that's enough of Bonus and dogs for the minute. But Graham, I think this is going to be a particularly interesting topic. Marks and Spencer, Graham. I think I'm going to leave this one to you.
Yes. Marks and Spencer's, a British company, well, one of the last British companies, to be precisely. They have at present released a world globe and selling it, and they've changed the name of the Falkland Islands to the name. Ben, you'll have to help me out with this because I can't remember the.
No, not a problem, Graham. I can, because you know what? I'm glad you've done that, because I had to check myself. There you go. Yes, the name, ladies and gentlemen, so we know it's the Falkland Islands that it's known to mean you on the common wording.
Yes.
But it's actually been referenced as Las Malvinas. Las Malvinas is Argentinian for Falkland Islands. Now, what we do know, Graham, don't we? Would you like me to just pass it back to you, actually, or are you happy with me to carry on, actually? I should ask that question first.
Now pass it back to me, and I'll do what I can, and then you can continue.
Go for it.
Well, 38 years ago was the Great War in Falkland Islands, where Margaret Thatcher, the Prime Minister at the time, sent a British task force there to protect the island and its people. Ever since then, the Argentinians have demanded that the land is given back to them, and they are stating that it's not British land. The land is known throughout the world, and it's in the legislation, isn't it? International legislation that it is a British land. But these people won't have anything to do with it. And on that fateful day back then, in 1982, 255 service personnel were slaughtered. And that's what started the process of Margaret Thatcher making the decision she made, even though she was basically asked not to, even by the Americans.
Yeah.
The Americans even asked her not to. But she just went ahead with it, didn't she, Ben?
Indeed. But Graham, it's 38 years ago. Some of us weren't even born. You weren't born, were you, Graham?
No, I weren't born, no. Were you born?
Nope. What about you and the viewers? The viewers must have been born. Was Lisa born? That's a bit of a personal question, isn't it? Don't answer that, Lisa. Actually, I'll answer it for you. No, you weren't. There you go. And how do I know that? Because you're younger than me. Well, that's enough of the Falkland Islands, isn't it? What a place, though. I would love to go there, Graham, wouldn't you? It's one of the places I would like to visit. Just for the issue of...
It's like a mini England.
Yeah.
When I say, well, not mini England, it's like a mini United Kingdom. It's just so British. You've got the Royal Mail post boxes. You've even got the postal vans are the same. The police uniforms. You name it, they're literally all the same. I mean, at the moment, there is one thing we forgot to mention. There is a some army on there, isn't there, to protect the country? There's a garrison on there, isn't there, that is being basically embedded into the country and never to go.
Yeah, I mean, unfortunately, the Argentines will never want to accept that it is a considered British colony or British territory, and it has always been since the I'm going to find the word in a minute, folks.
The conflict of 1992.
The conflict, yeah, but I'm looking for a word, Graham. I'm looking for that word, and it's just left me. Yeah, I'll come back to that.
Right.
Yeah. Yes. I will come back to that. I thought I had it then. Well, anyway, there we go. So it wasn't that important. But let's just say it's always been British owned, or at least since 1982. And the same applies with, like the likes of Gibraltar, Graham. We have the same problem with that, don't we? It seems occasionally we have difficulties from the Spanish. Of course, it has been said, should I say, that it's been an issue to travel across the border, and at times it can be rather slow. But we can't necessarily say that's because they're making life difficult. But others might suggest that that is the case. But we'll leave that down to the individual, shouldn't we?
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to say, Graham. I wouldn't like to say.
Neither would I.
I still can't find that word, guys. I am trying my hardest to get this word. I cannot find this word. Graham, I'm going to ask you for assistance on this because I feel that this word is very pertinent. So, the word I'm looking for is when you take over. Liberate. There we go. I found it. I found it. I just slipped on that banana skin, banged my head, and I've just found it. Right, there we are. Liberation.
Well, yeah. The 1982, where the British liberated.
We liberated.
Basically, yeah. No, it's where they liberated the country back.
Yes.
Where it was wrongfully taken from the Britain.
That's right.
I mean, going back in the history books, it was about was it 1800 and something. So I'm going to have to double check on that, people. I don't know if anyone wants to check, but yeah.
Indeed. Andrew is with us. Thank you, Andrew, for coming in, and he's got some interesting things on the subject. He has said there's a slight echo on the audio, as if the two streams open, Ben. Right, yes, I'm glad you mentioned that, actually. Yeah, there is. Thank you. There won't be. Now, you mention it.
Ben, why aren't you noticing this?
Say again?
Why aren't you noticing the two streams going?
Well, because I haven't got headphones on, Graham. But is that better?
Andrew?
Can you hear me, Graham?
I can hear you fine.
Right, that's good. So that's fixed it. That's fixed it, guys. I think I know what it was. Thank you very much, Andrew. Always a help. Always a pleasure. He says he used to work there. I'm glad we came to you, Andrew, because you just helped us out there. Thank you very much. Kyra Roland, nice to see you, Kyra. Thanks for joining the stream. And yeah, we're just talking about Falkland Islands tonight. So far.
Yeah.
Liberation of the Falkland Islands. He used to work there. Operation Cooperate. Cooperate?
Wow, Andrew.
Operation
Interesting.
Ben is on the stream not listening. No, actually, no. What it is, guys, who said that, actually? Let me have a look. Let me just find out who said that. Andrew, because Ben is on the stream and not listening. Listen to it. Yes, and that is fixed it. Right, yeah, it has fixed it. Now, what it was, Andrew, and for the viewers, was the... I had it coming through one of the monitors. I've got 3 different monitors, and it was coming through one of the monitors, so it was probably picking it back up through the microphone. Yeah, there you go. There's your answer to that. Cool. But I am watching on the stream. But I'm watching it in mute, guys. Graham, so what have you got to talk about today in the sense of your daily plans? I mean, so you've been pulling ice creams.
Yeah,
it kind of is that motion, isn't it?
Yeah, you can do it all different ways to put a good whippy, but there's always a best way. So I always do it the best way.
Yeah, indeed. Well, there we go. Graham, I'm not going to avoid the subject because I don't like to do that. And this is the point and purpose of why we have visitors or viewers. Now, the viewers have asked a question, and I've been watching it for a little while, and I've been thinking, should we, shouldn't we, should we, shouldn't we? Well, after all, it wouldn't be the Ben&Grem Show if we didn't listen to the viewers. So, for that reason, we're going to touch on this. Lisa says, what's our views on Charlie Elphick, Grem? We were thinking about this earlier, weren't we? We're thinking, yeah, we're going to bring this up, but we didn't have this scripted. But but the thing is, Grem, I think that's the thing, isn't it? When we're live and we have the viewers, you know, we want to talk to you guys, right? And we want to respond to your questions. I will. Do you want to open up on this, Grem, or do you want me to start? I don't mind. What do you think, guys? Who do you want to go on this one?
I can go. I'll go first.
All right, go for it, Grem.
Come on. Well, the thing is, we will never know the full picture at all, and but what we do need to ask ourselves, why the initial complaint never went through Conservative Party HQ, and instead it went to a Labour MP. So it went, and then it went straight to the Labour Party HQ, and then they held on to it. They held on to that dynamite until the moment that they needed to release it, and that's what they did. So it's a dirty world, politics. But there is a. I let Ben do this part with one of the phrases that Charlie was meant to have made. Walking about his house, so Ben's expressions are hilarious on this. So.
Yeah, I mean, try and make light of a situation, I suppose you could say, Grem, isn't it? He referenced himself as being considered a naughty Tory. I suppose he was naughty, really, but it's a tricky one, because I think we are moving into an age now where, in society, where you have to be so careful what you say, what you do, and how you do things. And, you know, I do wonder, as I say, Graham, I think you're right, in the sense that, was this politically motivated? I'm going to make an accusation, but I probably shouldn't really do that. They're all just as bad as each other. I shouldn't say that, really, but it's what I think. Politicians are a nightmare. They're all as bad as each other. And goes to the point by saying that it seems that, you know, one politician to another, one party to another, they're always trying to get one over each other, and sadly that's politics. And when their opportunity arises, they attack, and that seems to be what's happened here with Charlie. He's a nice guy, Charlie Elphick, and I've had the pleasure of meeting him, and yeah, he did work hard for the constituency. I think people, in my opinion, preferred a Conservative MP. I think it's fair to say, based on history anyway, it's a shame. It's a real shame, but obviously it's brought turmoil to his life. I think it's fair to say he and his wife have parted due to the story, and sadly it's been suggested that it wasn't just on one count. It was up to, I think, 3 counts that was referenced on the subject. So
yes, he's lost his job, he's lost his possibility of returning to his previous career, as a barrister. Was it a barrister? Yeah,
well, he says he's a naughty boy, but, you know, men will be men. I mean, women can be just as bad. You have to be very careful when you say stuff like that, of course, but we're all as bad as each other at times. But I think sadly with Charlie, would it have ever been exposed if politics wasn't involved? I don't think it would have done. Honestly, I don't think it would have made a blind bit of difference to anyone.
Exactly.
But because he's a politician, I think it's fair to say that on the basis of that, vicious. But it happens to all party politics, all politicians, doesn't it? In some way or another. You know, all parties are just as bad. I think it's fair to say. We've got to be neutral about it, haven't we, Graham? Whether I to say I think and suggest that one is particularly worse than another would be my own opinion, but that will not be expressed on the Ben&Grem Show.
No, not at all.
But yeah, so yeah, there you go, Lisa. I hope that's answered your question. Very, very sensitive subject, I think. I do hope, for Charlie's sake, me personally, I will say I hope he's well, and things are okay. As I say, he's a nice guy, and I had the pleasure of meeting him and working with him. Actually, I worked with him whilst a councillor of the local ward of Tower Hamlets, and I came across him a couple of times where I approached him about a number of different things, and he's not a bad guy. But there you go. So, Grem, I want to. Andrew says, actually, I always do this. Why don't I finish off a topic, Grem, with the folks first? You know what I mean? Then finish the topic. I'm always doing this, and I look down and I think, oh, we've got some comments. Anyway, nice to see everybody is engaging. Thank you very much. Yes, Lisa says, am a naughty Tory. Yes, he did say that, didn't he? And all is an allegation. All is an allegation. Well, that's it, Andrew. It's allegation, isn't it? And that's what I think you have to say, isn't it, about the subject? It's allegations. Although it did go to court, didn't it, Graham? I think. Yeah.
Yes, he went to court.
Impact on it. The impact wasn't particularly good for him, was it?
And he may be facing a prison sentence.
Yes, that's true. He may well be. Yeah, it's a sad state of affairs. You know, how many times have we heard scandals like this? You know, in politics, it always happens, doesn't it? I've always thought this. It seems to me like when you're a politician, you're on borrowed time, and there's a couple of ways in which you can go. I think it's either you get to the top, and you might even get a peerage, or someone will find a scandal on you somewhere, and next thing you know, you're a forgotten entity. And that's kind of there's a thin line in politics. You know, you've got your fans and you've got your foes, and that's the way it is. And the enemies will always try their hardest to slip you up or trip you up, and that's it. That's politics. Sadly, that's the way politics is. And I've heard over the years people saying, Graham, about politicians, they need to be transparently independent. No party politics, no party banners, because for that then reason you could go into a working environment in a council or otherwise parliament and actually work with an equal-minded approach, and people I think would be more willing to work with one another. But I think the moment you bring politics into it, it's almost like a point scoring scenario, and that's where I think sometimes politicians do not get things done, simply because it's a war between those to try and get any headway. Do you agree, Graham? I just think sometimes it's and particularly in local councils and local government, I think there doesn't necessarily need to be, I think, politics at that level. I really don't. And when I was a councillor, I kind of experienced this for myself. I think really it just kind of muddies the water a bit, I think. But there we are, Graham. Well, I want to just mention Anne Vickers. Hello, Anne. Anne's watching the stream. Thank you very much for coming in. Yeah, most grateful to see you, indeed. Graham, I want to just jump over to some more topics, guys. What do you think? Should we go on? Are we happy with where we're at right now, or should we move on?
No, please do.
Please do, he says.
Yeah, my green screen is doing my head in. I
thought you had a bit of a disco there.
Disco going on.
Yeah. Strange, isn't it? Have you got any lighting in there, Graham? Any natural lighting at all?
A window, which is I've opened the blinds totally.
Right.
And the spotlight from my phone. Because if I put the room light on, it interferes with the top part of the screen.
Yeah, well, it's quite nice actually. We've got the occasional flash.
There you go.
So, just a quick disclaimer, ladies and gentlemen: if you do suffer from epilepsy, we're very sorry.
Yeah. We will try and let you know that when the flash is going to happen, so you can close your eyes. Oh. Flash.
Yes. Right, Henry VIII, Graham. Henry VIII built a castle. Actually, it was a Warmer Castle, for those of you that know, in Kent, and it was never.
He built loads of castles, didn't he?
Say again, Graham?
He built loads of castles.
He did.
Yeah.
But in particular,
all along the coast.
The fort Henry VIII built for an invasion that never came. So that's interesting, isn't it? So we've got the Warmer Castle that was never used for its intended purpose. But it's lovely, though, isn't it? I do like these old-fashioned castles, don't you?
Oh, I do as well, mate.
Good stuff. What about you guys? I bet Andrew can tell us a few things about castles. Andrew is somebody who documents history, and it's fantastic to see some of the work he does on YouTube. And yeah, so I can imagine you've got some really good shots of not just castles, but inside castles, around castles, and some history to go with it, I'm sure. Please check it out, folks, if you want to check out the channel. It's Andrew's channel, Andrew White. Have a look. I'm sure he'd be more than happy to pop his website or his YouTube channel up in the chat, guys. There you have it. Paul Scholes. Now, people, football again, we have to touch on this because he's broken. Paul Scholes. Now, Paul Scholes was a England footballer, and also he played for Manchester United. He has been considered an iconic figure in football. Of course, now retired. But he threw a huge party, a 7-hour party, during lockdown, and he's broken lockdown rules. I don't think he's the only one though, Grem, is he, to have done that?
No,
I mean, I'm not saying
there's been a lot of other people that have done the same, especially within the same area of expertise as him.
Yeah, it happens. I don't know why. But yeah, people are doing what they need to do, and they are maybe taking things a little bit too far given the circumstances of coronavirus. I think people are getting fed up with it, aren't they? But still, we have to be careful. We have to be very careful. Graham, now we've done a bit of lockdown, haven't we? We've done the Falkland Islands. That was an interesting one, actually. We've done a bit more coronavirus. But this is another thing. Urgent product recalls from Sainsbury's, Tesco, Asda, Morrison's, Lidl and Co-op. Now, there's from time to time there will be, won't there, Graham, some products that will occasionally be pulled back from the front line. So, for example, you bought something and it's been recalled. You get it with technology equipment, modern equipment, and also food. And why do we say this? Well, it's been reported that rice, I meant to say. Microwavable rice has been reported to have found particles of glass in some of Kent's stores, and they've been suggested to bring back those items should you have bought them. And of course, we not only know that, but there's been other items that have been misinterpreted on the subject or description of what the item is. And so yeah, that's interesting, Graham, isn't it? I think it has to be very close in scrutiny, doesn't it, some of this stuff. We need to be clear on what we're buying, and I think we do need to be aware if there is a problem.
Yeah, most definitely, mate. Do we know the brands of rice?
That's interesting because Uncle Ben's.
Oh dear, well, I had some of those the other week.
Yeah.
Oh my.
Anybody who's bought Uncle Ben's brown basmati rice has suggested to bring them back, I believe. Food Standards Agency, the FSA, have made that point. Yeah, but there you go. It's Mars Food UK that is recalling the above products. So there will be notices out to people, of course, if the event is that should you have bought, or otherwise I'm sure if you go into these stores you'll see the information available to you. But yeah, Graham, it's good though, isn't it, that that's happening? I mean, you don't want glass in your rice, do you? Can you imagine how dangerous that is?
I know, it's a concern, isn't it? It's a really big worry, and it's quite scary.
Well, it is. But I would also say that, yeah, I suppose, human error happens in all lines of work. But I suppose when you think about it, if it's in food, it's a different subject altogether, because you have to ingest that, and it can cause serious damage. So there is no room for human error in food production, is there, really? When you think about it, and it makes you wonder sometimes when you're eating something. It does make you wonder what the process was. I mean, I don't know about you guys in the chat, or even you, Graham, but when you're eating something, do you not sometimes wonder where it's come from, or how it's ended up in your plate or on your plate? The process from the moment it was created to the moment you started to eat it. I mean, does it never cross your mind? It does me sometimes. I often think, what's happened with the process of this? particular piece of
Well,
food?
I believe Morrison's do something similar, don't they? They actually you buy on the packaging.
Yeah.
I think Tesco's do it as well. It states where the, for example, the chicken came from, or the cow, or the pig. You know, basically where they came from, the name of the farm, etc. Yeah, so there's a bit of history there.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I think it does make you think, doesn't it? Graham, I think your lighting could be the issue.
I'm getting fed.
Maybe
guys,
just
I'm getting fed up with my
lighting down.
Turn the lighting down. If I turn it down, no one's going to see me. Anyway, that's not a problem, is it? Because I want to turn it off anyway. It's just making something not right.
Well, you're looking great. So as long as we can see a bit of it.
It was working fine, but now it's not accepting my green screen.
Well, while Graham works on that, I want to just swiftly move on to the next topic, which is to do with a Public Health England issue. Graham, you have a look at that, and I'll give the viewers a moment. So yeah, basically, guys, this is it, really. This is another scary story. A scary story. So we know about coronavirus, we know about the dangers of coronavirus and the seriousness or severity of. Now we go on to another topic that's come about in the news, and it's a rare infection that's been recorded in the UK. First case actually has been suggested to have been found. And what is it, you ask? Well, actually, I was going to tell you I don't know, but actually I do. It's a dangerous tick-borne infection. Now, we do get ticks in this country. Ticks, you mostly find ticks on animals. And so if you come across a tick, be particularly careful at the moment, because they are carrying a virus. And it's a blood cell infection, which can be called babesiosis. It's caused by a parasite which infects the red blood cells. It's also been reported by the Daily Mirror, or the Mirror, should I say. And its abbreviation is TBE. Now, this is quite a worry because a blood infection is quite a dangerous thing. So they're saying for people to be extra careful. If you're going out with dog walks, be careful, particularly if you're walking through grass or long grass. You can pick them up out and about areas, definitely. Bushes, things like that, ticks. They're a weird looking bug, basically. For those of you that don't know, it's like it kind of looks like I don't know, Graham, how would you explain a tick? It's like a little ball with a few legs, really, and they're sort of greyish blue colour. They tend to really they tend to, I think it's fair to say, latch on to animals, and not just animals, but has been known to latch on to humans as well, I believe. And you can't just get rid of them. I think you have to go and get them removed surgically, because if you don't get rid of them...
they embed, don't they? They actually embed under your skin and lay eggs, and not very nice.
Yeah, that's true. They do, and if you're not careful, they can actually burrow their way in. And if you break them off, you have to be careful not to allow them to remain with their head inside, because again, it can equally become infected. So anyway, that's enough with a tick. But yeah, just be careful, guys, when you're out and about and you're walking through long grass or through shrubbery or whatever it might be you're doing. If you like a bit of camping, be careful. And yeah, there has been some said cases, not many, but it has been reported that cases have come about, and Public Health England have put out a message about this. So you'll find more information on their website, that I'm sure. Yeah. Strange that, Graham. There's a lot going on in 2020. Viruses. I mean, how many times have we heard viruses being mentioned this year? I mean, it makes you wonder, were there always these sort of viruses going around? It's just maybe this year it all comes out, as in the sense that we're more aware of it now because of the subject of coronavirus, do you think? What do you think? I don't know. I think Graham is... oh, here he is. He's back. Graham, did you get that?
I've lost my mic. Why does my mic keep going off?
I don't know. Did you get that, though? Did you hear anything about that? Did you hear about
I can't hear you, Ben.
Say again?
I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. Right, okay, bear with us, guys. I think we have another technical fault. Could be anything, couldn't it? Could be anything. I think I'm coming in and out. I don't know. It could be a streaming issue. It could be an internet issue. But we are going to continue anyhow. Grem, yeah, we were just saying about, and the viewers were just saying about the ticks. You know, the Public Health England have said about tick infection, which is being noted. And
you've only just come back on. I didn't hear any of that previously.
Right. Okay, Grem. Well, we'll see if the viewers. Yeah, I don't know what that might be about, but like I say, if anybody didn't get that in the viewers chat box, please mention it. I think you probably did. I'm not sure. It could have been just our end, but we'll have to wait and see on that. But yeah, Graham, we're just touching on the on ticks. So I know you've kindly got your green screen working, which is really good in the studio. It's working nicely for you now. Strange things, technology, innit? Always goes wrong at the worst possible time. Yeah, so ticks are basically, again, ticks are found on animals. Generally speaking, they are little bugs that burrow their way into a body, and they suck the blood from their victim. But they are now being reported to be carrying viruses of a blood poisoning almost. And if infected, that is. And so it's been noted that it has been cases, should we say, in England, in the United Kingdom. So we just need to be aware when we're going out and about. Make sure that when we take our dogs out, or cats, if you walk your cat, or whatever animal you might walk, or even just you having a general stroll, just be careful that you don't go through some long grass, because you can pick up these nasty little ticks. More information, I'm sure, will be found on the Public Health England. Right, Graham, did you have anything to say on that? I think that's where we just about lost you, didn't we, guys? We just lost you the moment I went to go over to you on that subject. I mean, do you think... I think where I got to with that was I said to Graham, didn't I, folks? I said to Graham about the subject on 2020 and how everything seems to have come about virus-related. Like, other years there would have been viruses like the flus and so on. But it seems like this year all these different viruses are coming about, and it's quite a strange one, isn't it? Is it because of the issue around coronavirus we've become more aware of it, that now we are starting to highlight these things that probably have been here a while? Would you say?
I probably think you're right there. It's where the authorities really have now opened up about certain viruses, maybe, and infections.
Yep. Infections. Well, we are racking through this, guys. It's been great so far. Thank you very much, everybody, for your anticipation and
I need a teleprompter.
Getting involved. Graham, say again. You said something there.
I need a teleprompter and I need a decent lighting system.
Yeah, well, we have actually, haven't we, Graham? Just as it comes, we do have a studio, but we're not in the studio at the moment. There will be occasions where we can't be, for whatever given reason, and so you will get this version of a stream as opposed to the new up-and-coming version of a stream that you will see. But so in the meantime, bear with us, guys. Again, you've always been great. You've always bared with us at the difficult times, but it's going smooth. It's going well. There's no problems. It's going right, Graham. You're doing good. We're all doing good. You're looking great. Actually, always great.
I'm looking green. I'm looking green like the green screen. Look, I'm near enough, sort of like zoom. What was that happening last time when we were? I was like in Star Trek, wasn't it?
Yeah.
I was like phasing in and out. That was last time, and now I'm going all bloody green.
Phasing in and out. Indeed. Right, we've got a few comments, guys. Before we move on to our next topic, I want to just go over some of the comments because we've kind of neglected you for a little bit. We have... right, what have we got? So Lee says, sadly, he's been found guilty and now awaits sentencing. That's quite sad to hear. Yeah, so we were talking about Charlie Alphick earlier in the stream. Yes, Lee. Yeah, I think that is the case. We also see Andrew says, here's my channel. Thank you, Andrew. ALW Exploration. Andrew Leonard White Exploration. I knew what it was, Andrew. Thank you for that. Anyhow, I just, that's why I said put it up on the chat, because I couldn't on the top of my mind remember what the name was, although I'm subscribed to it. So madly enough, I should have remembered. So I do apologise, but it is a great channel. And like I say, folks, please have a look. You'll enjoy it. Lee has said he has a piece of glass over 25 years ago that he found in a tub of ice cream, and Sainsbury's took them off the shelf immediately. Wow, there you have it. So, what is it with glass? I mean, maybe it's in the production line. Maybe there's just things coming in glass packaging. Surely that must change now. Surely. I mean, that was 25 years ago. What do you think, Graham? Surely nowadays they don't. Well, then saying that, we've just said about the rice, haven't we? And glass being found in rice, which is crazy. I mean, mostly you get, you know, Graham, don't we? We get like a lot of the stuff that we eat. It says may contain nuts because of allergic reactions, which is understandable, because I suppose nuts can be rather small. They can break up, and whenever you've got a factory working with food, you tend to find nuts might be somewhere, and so for that reason you have to state that. But glass, I mean, I'm only assuming glass is being found because maybe some of the items or products that are coming into these warehouses and factories are made up of glass, and somehow it got broken somewhere. You don't know, do you? You know, I'm glad to say it doesn't happen all the time, but I suppose, again, human error. You know, you can get away with it in certain industries, but when it comes down to food production, you have to be very careful. Human error is a dangerous thing, you know, when it comes to food. What else we got? We have a few more questions from the viewers. Have a look at this. Graham, he says, yes, Graham, Lee says, turn it off and tell Ben to sort it on his side. I've done it, yeah. Thanks, Lee.
Turn what off?
I think he was talking about the sound.
Oh.
Yes, Andrew says, you're welcome, Ben. I can hear Graham too. Brilliant. No, yeah, that's great. He can hear you. That's great. Yeah, it could have been just well, basically, guys, for those of you that are watching a stream, you might be able to just comment on this, because I've changed something today, and we are actually streaming in 1080p, guys, HD. So
you are. I'm not. I'm all green. I'm like from planet Mars.
I don't know. You're looking pretty good on the stream, I think, Graham. Actually, you'd be surprised. It's actually filming in 1080, and of course the bitrate, which for those of you that don't know, but bitrate is what capability the internet will use to stream the particular video. Obviously it's not too high, folks, because obviously if you go too high, then of course it can affect your viewing experience. So I think I've gone in between, but I think it's certainly definitely an upgrade on the previous streams. So I hope you're enjoying that at least. What else do we have? Andrew says all looks good here. Brilliant, Andrew, thank you. Yes, thank you very much. I'm pleased about that. He says a future live stream from Grem is ice cream van from these cars would be cool. Yeah, that's interesting, Graham. There you go. You hear that? So basically, Andrew,
you can't be serious.
That would be good, wouldn't it? You could do that, Graham. Could you?
Well, no. How can I? It's like data protection of the customers, isn't it?
Well, no. I mean, yes, of course, you're absolutely right. Yes, I mean, but maybe when you haven't got a viewer or a customer, maybe, you know, when you've got a quiet spell, maybe do a. You could, couldn't you? I think you can.
Doesn't always work out like that, though, mate. You think that you've got a quiet spell after a couple of minutes, and then you go to get out of the van to go for a vape or whatever, and then they just come out of the stones. They just suddenly appear, and they're there.
Well, that's because they like your Mr. Whippy, Graham, don't they?
Yes, I know. It's all the special whippy I make.
We do like talking about your whippy, don't we? We've spoken about your whippy on a few occasions, actually, haven't we? It is nice whippy. I have to say, having experienced it myself.
Yes, you did really enjoy it, didn't you?
It was very creamy. Yeah, it was good. So yeah, there you go, folks. If you happen to want an ice cream, go down to Dover Seafront. Graham will be there. Graham, tell the viewers when you will be there.
Maybe tomorrow. I might be there tomorrow, but I don't always go to Dover Seafront. I'm in different places.
That's it. No, well, tomorrow, folks, is...
Say again, Ben.
Say again, Graham?
Monday. Didn't you hear me?
Oh. Tomorrow is Monday the 3rd of August, guys. So yeah, you might see Graham tomorrow. But Graham can either be, can't you, Graham? You can either be in Dover, can't you? Or you can actually also be in, say, Folkestone, is it right? And do you also go to somewhere like
Dymchurch or Sandwich? and some events, but all events have been cancelled, so there's no events this year. So it's just seafronts, basically.
Yeah, interesting. Andrew says OBS. Yes, that's right, Andrew. We do use OBS. Yeah, love it. Great piece of kit. But it can be a little bit iffy sometimes, I think it's fair to say. You might be able to agree with me on that. It's a bit temperamental, but it's good. Yeah, it's good. Shall we go on to the next topic, Graham? Or should we carry on with a bit more of Ben's waffle?
No more Ben's waffle. Let's move on to the next topic.
Not a bad idea. Not a bad idea indeed. Right.
What's the time? It's just gone 9:15.
Very nice. 9:15.
We used to have a watershed, Graham, didn't we? It disappeared, didn't it?
Do you remember that?
Yes, we did use shovel. Yeah. Yes, it did.
Which technically means, with the right labelling, you can say what you like, folks.
Well, I suppose we could. I mean, but we'd be very careful with the whippy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's the best way, I think.
Be careful with the whippy. Sad news about Prince Philip has come about. Prince Philip, it's not breaking news because it's not quite that sad, thankfully. But Prince Philip has been taken into hospital. Buckingham Palace has confirmed. Now, we know around Christmas, Prince Philip had a bit of a nasty cold, wasn't it? Could have been coronavirus, God forbid. And he was taken in, wasn't he? And he came out well, good that it was. But it appears he's gone back in again, and it's precautionary. It's understood to be similar symptoms to around about Christmas time when we understood he went in. So that's sad news, but we all wish him well. I hope he's doing good, and I'm sure he'll be out in no time at all. So respect to you, Prince Philip, and we look forward to hearing you out soon. Take care.
Yeah, big up Prince Philip.
There you go. That was one extra topic for you, Graham. Slightly off the topic of waffling, only temporarily though. Right, this is one that I think is a little bit of a surprise, and one that when I read it, Graham, I was kind of thinking, is it one of these sort of stories where actually the person they're talking about has some blame in this? And I thought, actually don't be too critical, and I will divulge. So we have a situation where a mum has or is on universal credit. Now this mum in particular claims that she can't feed her family after a Asda blunder. Now Asda being Asda food store. This lady in particular, there's a lot of money, mind, but she had spent £400 on a food bill. She's gone shopping, this is, so she's got this food together and she's gone to pay for it. And it's actually, I can give you the quoted figure, it's actually £494.90, Graham, that she spent on her card.
Wow.
Now, she's a 38-year-old lady, and her name is Chantel Jones, the story has it.
Chantel. What a name.
Well, Graham, she had been declined. What happened was, she went to enter her card details in the chip and pin, and it had declined. But it was later discovered, after trying to rectify the situation at that very moment in time, it was discovered by the evidence that had suggested that despite it declining, now whether it was her issue or store issue, whether it was declining on her end or their end was unknown, because what she was able to discover was the money had come out of her bank, although the store couldn't rectify that to suggest that that was the case, and so they didn't allow her to take her food. However, the food was paid for. So the cashier said the manager in the statement showed that the money did go out, but there was but we're having none of it, as said to be Asda. So that's quite a sad story because of the amount in particular. But the problem here is now the lady in question has to now operate through a food bank. She says she can't afford to feed her family. After a food bill like that, and then to find that you can't have any food from that, I'm not surprised. And so I really do hope that people...
It can't be a week, can it, surely? It can't be a week's food cost, because that's just ridiculous.
Well, the shop...
Who spends nearly £500 on food for a week?
Well, unless you've got a... Well, exactly. I mean, unless you've got a huge family.
You've got about 15 children. No, it's still not acceptable.
Well,
it's not...
Yeah, I don't know. Well, but there might have been some maybe some products within that. Maybe let's say food. Maybe there's some, I don't know, some goodies maybe to go with it. Maybe some electronics or something, you don't know. But I get you. If there was just food, that's a lot of money on food. But that's what a scary story. So the money's come out. It's obviously a banking error somewhere, isn't it? Or some error between Asda and the bank. Or how would you look at it? Because if the money's gone out, but it's not telling Asda that, then therefore, how do you get around that? But surely she should be able to get some sort of reimbursement of that money, right? I mean, she's had to go out of the shop. Obviously, once they've rectified this, I'm assuming they're looking into it. It's not good.
It's probably been rectified by now. Because it goes from the system, doesn't it, into the cloud, to the bank, and then from the bank back through the cloud, and then back to the the shop or the store or wherever the money, if it's been spent online.
Yeah.
But there's a break in the communication, isn't it, coming back? So it's gone to the bank. The bank's released it, and then it's floating. So it's out and floating. So it might be a problem with the server to do with Asda. With that, and that's the reason why it can't gain access.
Well, Lee says, Graham, good point actually, Lee, thank you. He says on the subject that credit cards have insurance. Yes, they do. That's a good point. Now, presumably it was a credit card or a debit card. Depends on how she paid for it. I mean, it didn't suggest within the story that she used a credit card, although most people do generally know a card being used as a credit card in a sense. But if it was not a credit card, then again, bank cards have insurance, don't they? Well, you can take out bank insurance, can't you? I don't know. It's an interesting one. Yeah, maybe you're right there, Lee. I think you should be actually considered right on that one. I think you are right on that one, actually. Hey, Graham, he's right. I'm not sure how to bring this one to you, though, folks. This is the next story. Where do we start with this? Now, we have a gentleman, ladies and gentlemen. A particular gentleman. I'm not even sure if I want to speak his name out, but he has been known publicly for doing such a thing. So I wouldn't be the first to talk about it, I don't think. But we have a bodybuilder in the news. A bodybuilder whose marriage has been postponed with a sex doll. Now, he has a girlfriend,
crying out loud.
And because of coronavirus. Okay.
Ridiculous.
Well, yeah, he's taken the decision to. It's a story that's come out. Actually, it's the relationship started, and the news broke out on this particular relationship back in May 2019. But now they want to get married. They can't because of coronavirus. Now I'm assuming they're expecting a few people to turn up. She's made of silicone, ladies and gentlemen. His girlfriend is made of silicone.
What is wrong with that guy? There's just something not quite going on right up there, is it? It's ridiculous.
The headline actually says freaky romance, Graham. No, what is? I mean, I don't know. It's Kazuka. I think that's how you pronounce the name. Kazuka, bodybuilder, intends to marry sex doll, and there's a few photos online you can see on the subject. We haven't got any at the moment to show you, but I mean, it does look quite real though. I mean, it's very, very silicone looking. Whatever that looks like, it looks very real. But it's just a bit bizarre. But it's each to their own, though, isn't it, Graham? I suppose. I mean, if that's what keeps you happy, I suppose. Good luck to him. But
yeah, I suppose the doll doesn't argue back, so that's one possibility.
Well, not unless he talks to Alexa.
Yeah.
And she responds for him. I don't know. Maybe that's what her name is. I think she has a name. You wouldn't believe it though, Graham, because on the very same subject, this lady in particular, or doll, has an Instagram account created by her.
For crying out loud!
Yeah, you can actually follow this Instagram channel. Or page.
Oh my god! And how many followers has she got? Are you one of them, Ben?
I don't know. Am I?
No, you're not yet, are you? But you will be.
Well, not yet, folks. But I don't even know if I want to share this. It's actually a silicone person. Right. Well, this guy has created a virtual person out of this person, all right? And the very person is an athlete. She's an athlete. Is that right? No, don't think that's right. Yeah, it is right. Yeah, it is right. I am right what I'm saying, Graham. They've named her an athlete.
How though? But she's not even human.
Right, for those of you interested, it's Yuri Toloko. That's my. It's Russian. Okay. If you really want to know, I'll put a link up in the. I mean, this is like crazy hour, isn't it? Everyone, it's like.
Yeah.
Well,
God.
It brings us back, Graham, to something that we haven't done already this evening, and
yes.
You know what I mean.
Come on, push that button.
Pointless news.
There we go. Pointless news. Pointless news. Yeah, you didn't hear that, Graham, but the viewers did. I love that. I don't know why. I love that. Yeah.
Well, don't go pushing too many buttons because you keep cutting my sound off.
Yeah, that's right. But it's not. It might be on your end, Graham. I've discovered, but it's not. It's not actually cutting the sound off. The viewers can hear us loud and clear. But yeah, Lee says you can't marry a. What's that? No, you can't marry an inanimate object. No, you can't. You can't. Crikey, he says, you have recently, could you marry, right, so you can marry same-sex marriages, you can marry, recently, but believe what you need. Right, yeah, Lee. Well, actually, the terms of the marriage haven't been fully discussed yet, because although he has put, this gentleman, although he has put the marriage on hold, he is actually talking to the registration officers, I believe, about how to go about marrying. So obviously there's got to be a system in place for this. And you wouldn't believe it, but they're looking into it.
I think why don't they just tell the guy to go and get a life? I mean, my God. Why are people like this?
Yeah. Well,
it's all that stuff that he takes, to get the...
Anything's good to go these days, Graham, isn't it?
It's not through hard work.
Indeed.
I'm getting some muscles now, pulling that whippy, mate. I'm telling you.
Well, this is the thing. I mean, we talked about it earlier, Graham. You must do, because you've got the machine is quite high, if I remember rightly, and you've got to constantly lift your arm, haven't you, to use the. It's almost like a pump action, isn't it? So I suppose.
Oh yeah.
I suppose that's going to work, isn't it, for your fingers and
good
stuff?
Pump action. Yeah. It works well when it wants to.
Right, interesting. Well, actually, Andrew says Spike did this on the Buffy the Vampire Slayer in the 1999. He made a bot version of. Is that Tuffy? Buffy. That's right. Buffy. Of course, that makes sense, doesn't it? Yes. Yeah. Well, maybe that's where the idea came from. Do you think?
Yeah.
Maybe that's where the idea of a inanimal objected human came from. Don't know. Graham, not find a life, but find a doctor. Yes, Lee, I suppose. I wonder what the doctor can do, though.
Until he finds the relevant doctor that is going to be able to treat him, then maybe he should just go and spend some time within a lockup somewhere.
Do you know what? It must be more hassle than it's worth, right, Graham? I mean, let's just talk about this for a second. Let's put ourselves in the position of this man for a minute, if we can even possibly do that, right? So he's got to get up in the morning, right? He's got to look after himself, of course. But he's got to dress this thing, right? He doesn't have to, of course, but he is. He's dressing this thing. I mean, there's a few internet pictures of this particular being dressed in different outfits. So the assumption would be said that he is changing its outfit regularly. I'm not going to discuss anything else he might want to do with it. But he's moving it around with him. So I don't know how heavy this thing is, but what an effort, right? I mean, is it really worth it, Graham? I can't see it.
No, it's pointless. Totally pointless. It's just stupidity. I mean, I can't even answer it properly. How can you indebt yourself to something that's not even real?
Don't know. Got some sad news though, Grem. Even sadder news. And it's not quite pointless. I was going to do the pointless news then, Grem, for a minute, but I'm not going to do that now, because actually it's not pointless. I think it's very pertinent. I think it's very important news, because we know, ladies and gents, everybody in the stream, we know...
I'm going to disappear in a minute.
Oh, look, Grem is... I think that looks quite smart, actually. TikTok, ladies and gentlemen. TikTok is something that everybody seems to be getting involved with at the moment. And on that very subject, America are trying to put a ban on TikTok. And suggestion has come about that reason being it's because...
Yeah, they fought back, haven't they, Ben? They fought back against the President of the United States. And,
yes.
Yeah.
I don't understand that, though, Graham. I mean, there was some concerns, wasn't there, around TikTok about security, I think, for a while, but I think those things, I think that passed. But now we're talking about issues with it in general. Is it because it's Chinese? I don't know. What do you know, guys? What's the folks know about this? If someone can fall in love, Lee says this. He says if somebody can fall in love with a doll, then it would worry what else they could love. It would have you then worry about what else they could love. Yeah, Lee. Yeah. Well, yeah. I don't know. I don't know if we want to go into that, do we? The doll's bad enough, isn't it? Isn't that right, Graham? It's got a lovely border going on, hasn't it, guys?
Well, I'm getting fed up with it, mate. If it's not me, green screen, I've got no lighting in here.
Well, we can still see you. We can still see you. And you look great.
Yeah. Well, how can you see me? I'm really gone.
We can still see you. Yeah.
I'll be glad. I tell you what, I'll be glad when this flaming coronavirus is done one, so we can be in the same bloody area.
Viewers' discretion be advised. It is 9:02. If you've heard any language that you felt uncomfortable about, then don't come to us about it. Hey, Graham.
No, man. Exactly. That's what we're all about.
But no, it's fine. It's fine though, isn't it? We will be in the studio soon, and guys, we look forward to that most definitely.
Yeah.
But we've had a great time as always. We have another show, not tomorrow, sadly, for those of you that do know or not. We will be holding the Monday night show on Wednesday, folks, and we hope to see a guest with you and us on the night. So we will keep you updated on the Ben&Grem Show Facebook page on the subject. But yeah, if there's anybody that you want us to get on, then please do mention it in the chat. We are trying to get a particular celebrity on at the moment. I haven't had any direct communication with yet, but I have made contact with. And it's not a guarantee. I can't say it's a guarantee, but who knows?
This isn't Will Smith again, is it, Ben?
No. Well, Will Smith was a disappointment, wasn't he, in the end? He didn't make it, did he, into the stream, did he?
No.
No.
If you had your way that day, you would have had 5 people coming in.
5?
Yeah, there was 5 in there at one point, and you would have brought them all through.
Well, Graham, I would have done, but you know, like I said.
Yeah, but I probably wouldn't have seen the rest of it. Put it that way.
Right. Yeah. Lee says get on Charlie Elphick. No, we have spoken about Charlie, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
Graham. Yeah, Charlie Elphick. We have thought about getting Charlie on, actually. I think that's where you're going, Lee, isn't it? Why not? Would you guys in the chat like to see Charlie Elphick come on? We can certainly ask the question. I'm trying to find in the back of this pot of mine a name for you, and I'm delaying saying it at the moment because I've lost it again. It must be something to do with the weather, Graham. And when I get it back, I will talk to you further on it. But no, Charlie Elphick is a definite possibility. We'll look into that, Graham, shan't we?
Yes, look into it. I think we're going to have to give the guy a few months, you know.
Yeah, we will do. Well,
I think some of the dust needs to settle before he comes on to a show?
Lee says he's joking. He won't be allowed. No, not necessarily. You don't know. I mean, if he's in prison, sadly, then no, we won't be able to get him on, of course. But I don't know. Who knows? We'll have to wait and see. Well, let's just wait and see.
Everything's worth looking into. The regulations to it, and it gives us a learning curve to attach onto. So, thank you for the idea.
Yeah, very good idea. I have found this name, actually. It just fell out of my head for a minute, and I've picked it up, and it is Russell Crowe, everybody. He has been contacted to come on to the Ben&Grem Show, and we may hear back from him, but we know he's very busy, and have spoken to him in the past. I do know him, not personally, but we have spoken in the last few years, actually. And so it'd be great to get Russell Crowe on the show. Hopefully we'll be able to get him on the show, but I can't promise anything, because that's the thing, you see. We can only ask the question. We can't promise anything. We will also try and get Henry Bolton on, everybody. Henry Bolton is a former politician. He's also somebody who works in border security and strategy, and he's quite a renowned politician. He knows his stuff. We will hopefully be able to get him on. Again, similarly, we can ask the question. Anybody that you want to see in the chat, come on to the Ben&Grem Show, please mention it. Anybody you want us to contact, we will contact.
Yeah.
I think that's fair to say, Graham, isn't it? We know we're getting back, aren't we? We're getting back June, hopefully, at some stage. And I think hopefully we'll get her on video as well, which would be great. That's June Murphy, everybody. So
yeah.
June, if you'd be interested still, then...
That was a good interview. That was with June.
It was, wasn't it? Yeah. So we've covered our topics, guys, pretty much, and I'm proud to say that I've enjoyed myself, and Graham, of course, he too has enjoyed himself, haven't you, Graham?
Yes, it's been a lovely evening. I do apologise for the live interview that I've got going on again, and the green screen.
Well, we have had a difficulty today anyway. We've been very busy, me and our Graham here, because we have had some filming done this morning at a studio that we had to create on the set, on the scene, which was hard work. We did a little bit of footage, but we're not going to discuss exactly what that was, Graham, are we? Because we don't want to say anything positive yet.
No, it's all hush-hush, all top secret. Exciting stuff.
Yes, it's not being controlled by us. So we are a bit unknown to the course of events at the moment, which is something. But as I say, when we know more, and we're allowed to say more, we will. We'll advertise it on the Ben&Grem Show.
We will do.
But it was an interesting one, wasn't it, Graham? And so we had to jiggle things around a little bit, didn't we? So we had to build our studio back up, didn't we, this afternoon? Which is why, sadly, we have the issue with Graham's green screen. But that doesn't matter, because we can still see you, and that's the most important thing. We can still see him. So you can't have everything, all right? Really?
No, can't have everything as long as you can see me and hear me.
Exactly that. Matt Turvey, he hasn't been on this evening, but we just want to mention Matt. He has been on the stream before previously, as you know, and again, it would be nice to get him back on. I want to just mention, me and Matt, we had a discussion some while back about a football chat show, maybe. And so if that is something you'd be interested in, we are hoping to get it started, just to advertise it, we are hoping to get it started sometime before the new season starts, which isn't that long away. And we're not sure how it's going to work yet. A few things are in place for it, but we shall see. On that again, who knows what will happen. Isn't that right, Graham?
Don't overtire yourself, Ben.
Well, no, you should never do that. But the brain respects being busy, right? You should always, like that saying, isn't it, Graham? When you get to a certain age and you retire, and people say, don't they, that you need to keep your brain active, you need to keep your brain going, because you'll dwindle away, sadly. And I think there's a point in that, but there is a point in being in a position that you're doing too much, certainly. But that's the way life is. Life nowadays, it seems, is full of busyness, full of doings and goings on, and you've just got to go with it, I think, sometimes. But there are times where you have to say no, and so hopefully we won't be affected by that, any of us. If you want to do something, you just go and do it. That's what I say.
Well, within reason, the future's is going to be looking bright for Ben and Grem. So we don't want to be overpowering ourselves.
No, well, we have a busy schedule, don't we? We've got at least 6 months ahead of us where we know that we're going to be fairly busy, don't we? And
yes,
yeah, there will be some commuting going on as well, of course, naturally. But that's part and parcel of being involved in studio operations, I suppose. But it will be good, and there has been some investment in the Ben and Grem, but not direct investment, of course. It's investment in the whole entire setup, and so there is some opportunities for it, should we say. So it's got to work, guys, doesn't it? It's like all things. You put the money in, you put the time in, and the effort in, and then you hope that it will prevail. And that, I'm sure, Graham, it will, won't it? We'll have to keep you updated as things come about. Andy Parker. Andy Parker, thank you for joining the stream this evening. It's great to see you join us, and I hope you're doing well. We've had a great night, Graham, haven't we?
Yeah, it's gone all right.
Yeah.
It's been quite a lovely evening.
Yes, yeah. Well, actually, Lee said next time in the studio with June Murphy, just checking out the views and comments. We could do. Not saying Wednesday. We don't know yet about Wednesday, certainly. It's quite just around the corner, but maybe. Who knows? But like I say, anybody and anyone, it doesn't matter who it is, doesn't matter if it's your auntie or uncle. If you want somebody to come on, we'll get them on. Because that's what it's about. It's about having fun.
If they have a story to tell.
Exactly. Well, even if you've got a song to sing. We saw that, didn't we, with Tom Clark, didn't we? And Tom Clark, great lad. You saw the show episode, I'm sure, which was, uploaded, wasn't it, the other day? I hope
3 days ago.
Really good, talented music, wasn't it?
Brilliant artist.
Just to remind those that weren't viewing, Grem, we want to mention that Tom Clark also will keep us updated when he has his new release, because it will be played here, live on the Ben&Grem Show, for the first time, folks. But he said he'll let us know when that comes about. It might not be soon, it might not be immediately in the next few weeks, it might not even be in the next few months, but he's working on it, all right? So when he knows, he will get in touch and he'll let us know, which is great. So you will hear
and we will make sure that the show is polished for that. And it's definitely not going to be anything like what's happening behind me right now.
But I think it's just added graphics, though, Graham. I think you look great.
It's annoying. It's very infuriating because it's putting me off.
Well, sadly, we can't have it all, Ben.
No, we can't have it all. But it's been a lovely evening, everybody.
It has,
hasn't it?
So what do we say here, Graham?
Well, I say it's goodbye from Ben and it's goodbye from me.
Goodbye from Ben and goodbye from Graham. It's been a pleasure. Thank you very much.
It's been a pleasure. Thank you guys for joining us. Please follow us.
And we will look forward to seeing you at the usual time on Wednesday. Like I say, there will be the occasions where we'll move over to Wednesday over from our Monday, and that just will be the situation for some weeks. We are very busy, guys, but so are you. But I honestly want to say, on behalf of the Ben&Grem Show, on behalf of Graham and I, want to say that we are so grateful that you have turned out week in, week out for us, and we couldn't be any more thankful for that. Really, you make the Ben&Grem Show. It's not a show without you. Okay, so thank you, and thank you very much.
Thank you, guys. Thank you so much for joining us.
And we'll see you soon.
Yes, we will.
From me and from Graham, from Ben.
Yeah, that's it. We'll get it right one of these days, won't we?
I know. I was actually just thinking about that, Graham. I was thinking, how are we going to do this? Yeah, no, that's worked perfectly. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
See you soon.
Take care, guys. God bless you all. Keep safe. Wear the mask.
Wear the masks.
Yeah.
Shh.